Dream in Florida really is to have all these different subpopulations of bears across the state connected together.
I'm Shelby Shiver. I'm a black bear biologist with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, and this summer I'm in South Florida to collect data on the Big Cypress black bear subpopulation.
While gators and panthers get a lot of attention for being the stars of our state's wildlife, the black bear is also an integral part. Here to talk about a new documentary is Katie Bryden. So welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, this film looks amazing. First, can you talk a little bit about, the company that produces this film?
Yeah, so Wildpath is a collective of storytellers and explorers telling inspiring stories about wildlife corridors worldwide.
So let's talk about, the black bear, the Florida black bear, and specifically, how is it important in Florida's landscape as far as wildlife goes?
Black bears are very important to maintaining the natural ecosystem. So they disperse seeds, they cycle nutrients. They're just like any wildlife in Florida, everything's a part of the system. So they're really helping to maintain our forests and give us.
Well, tell me a little bit about the film and what we're going to see, what we're going to learn.
So in the film, the main character, Shelby Shiver, and her team of all-female bear biologists are collaring black bears. And this is the first study of the Big Cypress black bear population since the 1990s. So it's really exciting. They're figuring out, how the population is changing.
Yeah, so you talked a little bit about, how the Florida black bear is important, to the wildlife. What else? What else can we learn from this film?
So the black bear used to exist across the entire state, but now black bears exist in 7 separate subpopulations. 4 of which are doing all right. They have 1,000+ bears, but 3 of which have 200 or fewer. And that's a real concern to have such few numbers, but then also to have these disconnected populations. So that's where the Florida Wildlife Corridor comes in. We really want to have a connected bear population to ensure their long-term survival and health into the future.
Yeah, so what can we do, as people who live in this state to help protect these bears?
Well, it's really important to talk about the Florida Wildlife Corridor and raise awareness. 1,000 people move to Florida every day, so we need to educate more people. But it's also important to be a good neighbor to bears and learn how to coexist alongside them. And most of that is making sure you're not keeping your trash out, because bears have a really strong sense of smell, and that's going to be the one way to attract them, and we want to make sure we're good neighbors and learn how to coexist.
And that goes for wherever you live, right? Even if you live in the city, because I've been noticing more and more, sightings of black bears getting into neighborhoods and things like that. Right?
Yeah, if you're in those 7 subpopulations of bears, that's definitely important. But there are some parts of the state, like here in Tampa Bay, where we don't find black bears.
Right. So let's talk about what it was like when you, were out there filming this, because you kind of played so many different roles in making this movie. Kind of talk about your different roles and what it was like being out there filming these bears.
Yeah, so I had been following black bears, the black bear story of scientists working to protect black bears for 3 years. And there was one weekend, or it might have been like 4 days, that I followed Shelby and her team. And so we were in Big Cypress, and early mornings, long days in the very hot July summer, many mosquitoes, but their team is just so inspiring and dedicated. So it was really fun to be the director, but then also the cinematographer and producer, and be that team on the ground and get to see black bears in the wild. It's a perspective that not a lot of people get to have, so I felt very privileged that I got to see this part of wild Florida.
Yeah, and what did you learn, or were there any surprises when you were watching these bears in their natural habitat?
Yeah, so one of the really surprising things was that we found a 501-pound bear that's in the film. And so I was thinking, we might see one that's 250, not 500 pounds. So that was really incredible that you know, they were able to work up this 501-pound bear, lift it up and weigh it, and
And how amazing that your entire team that was out there with you, they were all women. How rare is that, and how important was that?
yeah, and that was really important to me as the director, to keep the whole film process all female. So, I mean, it was a very small team with me being the director and cinematographer and producer, my assistant Lauren Yoho, and then the editor Anna Quinlan, and we also had music by Kimmy Valentine. So I wanted to keep it an all-female team through and through, on screen and behind the scenes.
What was the team's response when they saw the film?
I think everybody was really excited about it, and it's such a timely film. Bears are in the news right now, and we need to learn more about them and be good neighbors.
Perfect. And how can we see the film? Where can we get
You can
more
go
information?
on National Geographic's YouTube
Okay.
and visit WildPath to learn more.
Okay, so there's a website, wildpath.com?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing the film with us. It looks amazing.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.